Welcome to the tutorial for 2-5, Gunship Cavalry. We have given this level a difficulty rating of 7 and an RNG rating of 3. This is a level often considered very challenging for new runners, but over time, the level can become one of the most consistent in the game with practice. There is a small RNG element in the first room with heart counts and a forced death you may need to take, but let's start at the beginning. This entire first room is cycle based, with these red lasers turning on and off every 2 seconds. They are the same every time you play the level, and it's important you maintain a fast speed throughout the room, and as you progress through the room, the lasers you will need to outpace will be indicated. As the very short opening cutscene ends, begin moving forward while shooting, making sure to destroy all the enemies and objects, and if any hearts drop, be sure to pick them up, as maintaining a high heart count here is crucial for later. When reaching the first bomb dispenser, grab the bomb while trying to maintain a decent distance and solid line towards this first shield generator on the right. Beat this laser, and shortly after passing it, let go of the bomb while driving towards the shield generator. You must destroy this right shield in order to do the first barrier skip, or else an invisible wall will block you. At this point, veer off slightly to the right, lining the left side of your left wing with the rightmost side of the rock. Hold forward, and right as you reach the edge, quickly change your direction to straight left and immediately press jump to do a roll. The most common way of failing is doing the roll too early and hitting the rock, or too late and falling. If you're slightly too far left, you can still get the trick, but you will take 1 heart of damage. If you're slightly too far right, you can also still make it, but you may ride on this edge a little bit, causing a small time loss. Once on the other side, stay towards the edge here to avoid this droid shooting you, and continue forward, taking damage from this laser. At this point, your number 1 goal is to get up to 3 or more hearts, or else you need to take an intentional death later in the level, losing a bit over 2 seconds. At this point, you have 6 opportunities to get heart drops. These 3 droids in this tower, and this droid and tower later on. It's RNG if you get heart drops here, but ideally you get to 3 or more hearts. Assuming you're on a good laser cycle, avoid these 3 lasers and go to the right side of this rock, ensuring you pick up the red brick. This is absolutely crucial to have for the rest of the run, and this is the red brick for exploding blaster bolts, which we will purchase on the way to episode 4. At this point, if you have 3 hearts, you can take intentional damage going through these 2 lasers and make it to the end of the room to set up for second barrier skip. If you have less than 3 hearts, continue through the lasers as normal and intentionally take a death and just keep moving forward. At this point, we're going to have to set up for the second barrier skip, which has 3 setups ranging from beginner to advanced. For the beginner setup, drive around to the left side of this generator, loop back around, and slowly drive away from the rock. Once you're facing straight downwards, immediately go neutral on all directional inputs and press jump. At the peak of the 360, call in player 2, and with player 2, drive around the rock into the cutscene trigger. For the intermediate strat, once again go neutral and press jump right before hitting the rock. Call in slightly before you reach peak height and have player 2 drive around the rock into the cutscene. The timing on this is a lot tighter, and you need to be careful to flip before you hit the rock, or else you may jolt off to the left side. The final, fastest, and most advanced strat involves approaching the rock, doing a 180, and calling in player 2 at the peak of the 180. The timing for this is even tighter, and it can sometimes be tough to do a 180, but using the D-pad may help you here. And your positioning is much more important, since being too far left will cause you to jolt left, and being too far right will make it impossible for player 2 to land on the rock. Once you set up the second barrier skip and player 2 is on the rock approaching the cutscene, you want to fall off the edge with player 1 to get ghost hearts. There's a chance you may miss the first barrier skip or make some other small mistake, causing you to be behind the laser cycle, so it's important to be familiar with general backups. The first mistake you can make is getting hit by this laser before the first barrier. This is not the end of the world if this happens, just know that you need to pick up the pace to avoid hitting this set of 3 lasers past it. If you make a larger mistake and end up missing the cycle of these 3 lasers entirely, the strat is to simply just slow down and wait till they go away and continue as normal, 1 cycle slower. It is very important to be careful here, since since if you stick to the right side of the room, your respawn point will not set, and if you die, you can respawn really far back. This respawn information is also important to note with the first laser after the barrier. In a situation where you're only at 1 heart approaching this laser, if you die to it and never go to the center of the room, you can get this respawn. The final weird case happens if you're going super fast. You can actually take damage from this laser by the red brick and then once again on this final set of lasers. So if you have a low heart count, it's important to be mindful of this. Once you enter the second room, immediately drop out player 2 and we will begin the end room route. There are a total of 8 lasers you must destroy using bombs, and the route is a very specific and preset route you should take the same time every time you play the room. It's very, very important that you take the time to properly learn the order you should do the bombs here, as failing to do the correct route in the correct order will cost you a lot of time. As you're doing the route, which can be seen on screen now, there are a few things to note. First, you should be shooting the entire time, and even spamming if possible to destroy as many enemies as you can, as failing to do so can cause them to block your bombs. In addition, if you fail to get ghost hearts at the end of the first room, you can pick up a power up once you destroy the first set of generators here, giving you invincibility. Continue through the room following the route exactly as seen here. Once you destroy the last generator, call in player 2. If you forget to do this, you can still do it during the end cutscene. Destroy the final shield generators and the level is complete. There are a few backups to note here, mainly just what to do if you miss a bomb. In the vast majority of cases, try and find the next closest dispenser and grab a bomb from there and continue the route as before. If you specifically miss this 5th bomb wrapping around to the other side here, you should use this dispenser on the other side to destroy the 5th laser, as well as the 6th and 7th lasers as you normally would. Just make sure to destroy both lasers on the left side first before doing the right one, so the generators have enough time to rise up for you to shoot them. This concludes the Gunship Cavalry tutorial.